Hello, my friend. Taurus season continues. We've got some hot, and I say hot energy this week. No, not that heat from the sun as we're warming up into those warmer months of the year here. We are going to talk about the planets and what they're doing, their configurations, how they're communicating with each other. That is bringing in some heat, my friend. Let me just tell you. We're going to talk about what's going on in our sky and what it is asking of us this week because we get to work with this energy, right? We're going to talk about where our moon is going to be hanging out for the week, and stay tuned because we are going to cover the Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week. Be sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you are all about keeping it real with Sidereal. Hey, my friend, Danie Muniz here, your spiritual healer, helping you heal your past, present, and future. My favorite thing to do is to help you understand who you are and then heal those generational, societal, ancestral paradigms that no longer serve who you are. My friend, I am excited to be back. In fact, I'll let you in on a little secret. Today is my birthday. Yes, that's right. If you heard that, it is my birthday. I am not somebody who anymore. I used to be a big person that celebrated my birthday all month, like made it a big thing. These days I like it a lot quieter, a lot more chill. So in fact, I'm recording this on my birthday, May 30th, 2023. So yeah. So I thought I'd share that with you. I am going to do a video, hopefully either today or tomorrow, about probably tomorrow, if I'm real, about what I've learned this past year and what I'm looking forward to in the new year. I thought I'd do a nice little recap of my 43rd year on this planet. Okay, my friend, let's dive in because I want to share with you what we have going on in our sky this week because, as I said, it is some hot energy. Okay, let's move my little face out of the way. There we go. Okay, there we are. So let me go back. Oops, I was looking ahead at some things. So let me go back to May 29th. As you can see, this is it is recorded. It is a recorded video, but it is not, my friend, it is not edited in any way. So if you like really edited, polished videos, this might not be the channel for you. But if you like to keep it real, and then here we go. Let's dive in. All right. So we've got a couple of things going on here. I just want to make sure I have my notes, make sure I tell you everything because there's a lot. So we kick off the beginning of our week. This is May 29th, and this is in Central Time, Austin, Texas. Here, I do live in Texas. So there is our sun, the circle with the dot. We always want to look and see where she's hanging out. And she's right here, or he is right here. It is more of a masculine energy. He is right here in Taurus at 13 degrees and if we click on here, he is making some connections to some other planets this week. Right now, he is making the trine. We are going to see that come over here, and it will be in opposition for our full moon later this week. We do have this sextile to Mars, which is really amping things up. Mars is going to be a really good key player this week, as well as we've got this square over to Saturn. So there really is this really beautiful energy. You may be feeling it of just getting into our goals, or not necessarily into our goals, but the drive and that motivation to succeed, to do things, to get things going, right? And it could indeed be the shift in the way we are doing things, right? This time of year, we just had Memorial Day weekend, right? Memorial Day weekend, it's always a celebration for my birthday. That's what at least I used to say. and what that does is it really starts off and kicks off that summer feeling. A lot of our kids get out of school around this time, or they're ending school. There's tons of graduations. I live in a college town, so there's graduation after graduation here happening at the university, tons of people in town, just really like the shift, you could feel it, right? The shift in the energy. And so Taurus is, more of like a slow and steady and like let's kind of get things in order type energy. And we move into Gemini, that is definitely more of that social energy, which we'll see next month in June. But right now, Taurus is really kind of like helping us get into kind of where are we with things? How are we doing with things? Where are we at with the money? There's a lot of talk around money with Taurus because what money does, or Taurus does rule that energy of money. It also rules the material things and how we feel secure and supported. And so if we take a look at, where our sun is here, we see that that he is hanging out right here. I always want to call her she. She is hanging out right here. Now we're going to come on over down here, and there's our crescent moon. There's our moon down here, and it is at 6 degrees Virgo. So right now, well, actually, as of yesterday, our moon was hanging out in Virgo, and it is going to continue to hang out in Virgo through today, Tuesday, May 30th, and then we'll move into Libra. So it's going to be moving this way, and it's going to be connecting over here with our South Node. It's actually going to be conjunct our South Node. But I do want to point out right here is that as the moon is moving over here, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to see the moon in opposition to all of these guys over here, meaning it's an opposite, right? Opposite zodiac signs, opposite area, right? So the Neptune here, Chiron, Jupiter, North Node, Mercury, Uranus, these guys are all over here on the opposite side of where the moon is right now. So it's going to be bringing up some energy here. And this, remember, the moon is our emotional energy. It's our innate reaction and responses to things. So a lot of people like to talk about like, what's your sign, right? And they're referring to our sun sign, which I am a Taurus sun. However, my moon sign is more of that emotional energy, the way I innately respond to things. And so it here being in Virgo means that that's how we are being influenced emotionally right now. And having the opposition to these guys right here is just kind of taking us through some things. I mean, Neptune is more of that dreamy, intuitive, creative type energy. So there's some of that wanting to come through right here. And then we've got Chiron, which is our deepest wounds. It's the wounded healer. So some of those old wounds, maybe we may be connecting, which is really good because of where we're going to see this, moon move and connect with Mars and some of the other things, really helping us release some of those emotional patterns. So really good time to do some of that inner work. And then we've got it in opposition to Jupiter. Now, depending on our emotional state, it can either bring lots of, like, make us feel really generous and giving and really helping us kind of maybe even overindulge a little, so that on the flip side there, right, it can really cause things to be expanded. And so that can be like, if we're having a negative kind of feeling, it could expand that. If we're having a really positive attitude, it can expand that. So I want you to keep in mind some of these things as I'm going along, because these are all building upon each other as we see these things happening throughout our sky. So then we've got the moon over here, and I can advance it a little bit here where we see it's starting to move. Right now it's here, it's Tuesday, so that's Chiron. And then if we go to Wednesday, we're going to see it move into Libra, and then we're going to see it start to hit this guy right here, Jupiter and North Node. So North Node, it's actually in opposition of North Node and conjunct our South Node. Now the nodes are always in opposition to each other, and again, they are not actual planets or asteroids or stars or anything like that. They're actually just mathematical points. So keep that in mind as well. But what they refer to is our comfort, what's easy, what our strengths are, and where we want to evolve to, where we want to grow, where we want to expand. And so the moon here connecting with our south node, it's like, ooh, feeling really good here, right? This is comfortable. This is old patterns, old emotional patterns, right? But that north node is calling us, and it is conjunct Jupiter here. So it really is calling us and pulling us up, pulling us out, wanting us to grow, wanting us to expand, wanting us to shift those old emotional patterns. So a really nice energy here, okay? What I also want, I'll point out a little bit later, is this energy over here, causing a little stuff. So let's go ahead and move on. So while the moon is in Libra, Libra is more of an air sign. And so Libra does seek harmony and balance in everything that it does, right? So it wants things to be equal. It wants things to be fair and harmonious. And it's kind of like a really nice, easy flow. But there is a lot more mental energy, a lot more seeing of both sides, which is the one thing that Libra is so gifted at, is they can see the both sides, the two sides of the story. And because of that, it can sometimes make it hard, or they're called indecisive. They just can see both sides. That's just what it is. And so because of that, we could have a little bit of energy of being able to see things for what they are, which is really great, and wanting things to be more harmonious, wanting things to be more easy, right? And so this connection right here can make it really easy for us to slip back into emotional patterns that maybe we've overcome, right? Maybe we've shifted, or maybe we've changed. And it's like, bam, how did I get back here again? Why am I doing this again? And it could easily be because it's just like, it just feels really easy to like stay here, right? Where a little bit harder to pull yourself out of that. So I just want to bring that, and then it'll move through till about 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. It'll be in that Libra energy before it moves to Scorpio, and it prepares for our full moon, which will happen on June 4th. Yes, I had to refer to my notes for a second. June 4th. So June 4th, we'll see this. I'll move it in a second. But this is Saturday. I do want to point out Saturday. Look here. We've gone through these guys, and now we're coming here to our sun. And so the sun and the moon in opposition creates that full moon energy. A full moon is a time for celebration. It is a time for release. And it really is a time for us to kind of check in on where we are with our manifestations, our goals, our intentions, whatever it is that we're working on, or how we work within things. Because I know people work differently within those, that we are like, it's kind of time that check in and see where we're at and celebrate what we've done. And also just recognize where we are, and then release anything that is going to block us, anything that is holding us back, anything that we may have accumulated over the past few weeks that we just need to say goodbye to, that we just need to release, right? So that is our moon, and in the energies, I'll talk a little bit more about the energies in that video, but in the energies of Taurus and Scorpio, right? Those are opposite signs. And so I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like, because Taurus is more material, Scorpio is more spiritual. And so we'll talk about what that is actually really calling for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. You can see here, there is where we're in that. It's a little bit off on here, but we're in this opposition. You can see that energy a little bit more. It's actually June 3rd. Let me look at my notes. Full moon is June 3rd. I don't know what date it is. It's June 3rd at 10:42 p.m. So it'll be right over here. I thought that looked better. Yeah, it'll be right around here somewhere, that it'll be in that opposition. Okay, moving forward. Now, let's talk about this energy right here. So we've got these oppositions coming at us. In particular, Venus in opposition to Pluto. Okay, Venus in opposition to Pluto. Now, anytime we're working with Pluto, this is more of an intense energy. It can be a darker energy. It can be like there can be control, power. And when I say that, I am very firm on, and I'm going to stop my screen for a second. Stop sharing my screen for a second. There we go. It's like, where's my stop share? There we go. Because I want to say this. So when I talk about words like power, control, and this is whether I'm describing Pluto or anything else, or even when I'm describing another zodiac sign, when we're looking at power, control, manipulation, obsession, right? Darker, more intense energy, I want you to think that, or to have an idea, be open to that those words are just simply words. How we are perceiving them and how we are working with them and how we are understanding them is what gives the meaning or the power to them. So if I say, Scorpio's all is super intense because it's very intense energy. It likes to go really deep into things. When I'm talking about power and control, that could feel a little like, ooh, I don't like that, right? But control of ourselves, taking power over ourselves, our own personal power, versus, right, the other side that we may be thinking of, that kind of manipulation or even trying to overt our power over somebody, right? It just depends, again, on how we are perceiving it and the meaning that we are giving those words. Okay. I want to say that because with Pluto, it can sometimes people can be like, oh, it's Pluto, right? Like scary. Like, yes. And right. It can also be extremely empowering for ourselves. Okay, let me go ahead and bring back up my screen here. Where did you go? Oh, screen. There we go. Okay. It just was, I have 3 monitors, my friend, and sometimes having 3 monitors is too much. Sometimes it's just a little too much. Okay, so we've got our Venus, as I said, Venus in opposition to Pluto. So we've got that happening right here. And that really is going to be for a bit of time. You can see that it really does come really strong in here. It's leading up here throughout the week, and then it really is hitting. It's at 4 degrees here. Pluto's at 5, and Pluto is in retrograde right now. So if we advance this forward, we'll see right here next week, beginning of next week, it will be in direct opposition. And then it'll be, I have a couple more days here with that energy as it moves away, but we're still kind of feeling it. So we're going to be building up to it, which is why I'm really talking about it this week. And then it'll be kind of fading, but we'll still kind of be in it, in that influence, at least until June 11th, right here, June 11th. Okay. Now, the other one I want to talk about, because these guys are really close here. They're getting closer, and we'll talk about them later in June, but as they're actually, it's starting right here, they're really getting to what's called the conjunction of Mars and Venus, which is really, really nice. Okay, let's talk about this Mars energy though. So let's go back, and you'll see Mars is in that opposition here. And it comes into that opposition right at the end. It's getting a little bit close here, but I do kind of want to talk about it because it is like going to influence us because of a couple of other things. If we come right here, you can see it's actually making the square to Jupiter. So it's in the mix is what I want to say. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But all of these guys right here are starting to make these connections here with Pluto, whether it is a square, as we see this Mercury, well, not making on that, because it's not exact there, but you'll see it's going to make this connection here with Pluto. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because this is where I'm telling you, this is kind of building up, and we're going to see this week into next week. And so Mars and Pluto, when they're in opposition, which is coming in the next few days, end of this week into next week, but we're seeing this build up, which is why I want to share this with you. Intense energy, right? Where we're wanting to achieve our strongest desires. Okay. So there's this energy, like this excess energy that needs to get burnt up. And so I often say, like, it needs to be channeled through something. And in this particular case, it can be channeled through our goals, channeled into our desires, into where what our passion is, into where we're wanting to go, what we're wanting to do. However, it does bring some competitive energy here. It does bring a little heat. And so with that, it could there could be some outbursts. There could be some aggression. There could be some competition wanting to come out. And with Pluto, it gets stuck. It gets stuck on an idea and it can't shake it. It's like a dog with a bone. It cannot shake it. And so pay attention to some of that. Now, we also have Jupiter here making this square. Now, Jupiter is that planet of expansion and growth, which everybody loves. It's so optimistic and it loves to just like share and be, and like it's just a beautiful planet. However, with it making this square to Pluto, this can be a little bit more challenging because we want to succeed, right? Jupiter's wanting to succeed. And with that driven energy of Pluto, of like that super focus in, like, this is really good, successful energy, really good. Like, I want to succeed. So, not saying that you're actually going to succeed, although that is a possibility and definitely can happen. It's more of like that desire, that drive to succeed and big time succeed. Now, obsessive behaviors, compulsive behaviors, on an extreme level can happen here. Even extremism can happen here, one side or the other. Also, because of Jupiter and Pluto, I would say there could be some religious extremism here, which, I don't like to say that, but it's a possibility where there could be some of that kind of happening. And then, we also have Mars here. And, Mars, we're still getting some of those power struggles. We're still wanting to get control over things or control over a situation. So I want you to think about that. Now, as I said earlier, when we're talking about words and when we're talking about them, I don't want you to take them so like be mindful. How about this? Be mindful of the meaning that you are placing on this word. Because if I say, there's manipulative behavior, or I say we can have power over something, right? Be mindful of how you're perceiving that, right? Are you perceiving that as being like overtly and aggressively trying to put your will over somebody? Or are you seeing as, what, I've had this addiction to green smoothies and I want to maybe, change that. I don't know why, but let's say it was something else. Insert whatever your addictive behavior could be here. Maybe you want to overt your power over this addiction. Do you see how that could be helpful? Do you see how we could use this energy to really push ourselves to make a change in our life? So it's not that it's manipulative or it's deep and intense and dark. And, Pluto definitely rules over the occult. So I'm my friend, if you haven't figured it out, I'm an occultist. I like things that are beneath the surface, that are not common knowledge, that we didn't learn. Definitely love that information for sure, right? Diving deep and exploring new ideas and new ways of doing things. Not all good and bad. So, my friend, we've got a really great week ahead. It's a really beautiful time. Like, when I look at this energy, it is definitely intense. It is definitely hot. There could be some things coming up, because think about it. As I was talking about the moon and how it's in opposition to all those planets and how it's connecting with the north node and the south node, like all the things that it's happening. And as it's moving through the zodiac signs, right? And we're building up to this full moon on Saturday. Yes, Saturday, June 3rd. In Scorpio, right? All of that energy. We've also got those other guys kind of doing some things and getting in preparation for us to make some really beautiful change in our life, for us to really like, that's why Taurus is such a beautiful time to connect in with our values, to connect in with what's most important to us. And now these other planets are just kind of coming in and being like, hey, let's clear this out, or let me bring this obsession, addiction, extremism to your attention so that because this probably doesn't fit your future, right? If you think about future you, do they do this behavior? Is this who they are? Probably not, right? And so we need to clear away those things that do not resonate with that. Now, I did say I have some suggestions for you to manage through this energy. I'm always going to tell you that meditation, journaling is really good during these intense times, especially because we're talking about this Pluto energy, like really releasing that energy. Water is really good to be in around, whether that's a bath, the ocean, a river, a lake, like submerging yourself in water is actually, or water rituals, really good during this time, especially as you're leading up to this full moon. But I also wanted to give you some, I'm a essential oil lover. I absolutely love essential oils. I use them on the regular, literally every single day. I actually got bit by a mosquito. It felt like there were 10 mosquitoes probably, but it was probably only one. And I probably have like 30 bites on my legs. Yeah, not so fun, but I've been using my essential oils and it's been great. So I'm definitely somebody who does not like big farm. I'm somebody who definitely tries to go for natural solutions. And so I wanted to give you a couple of different options if you are somebody who is looking for some natural solutions on how to manage through this energy. So what I have for you is vetiver is going to be my top pick for this week. So if you have vetiver, doTERRA has this, it's backwards, has this really nice in a roller ball. So it's got the vetiver oil and some fractionated coconut oil only in this. So there's no other things. I can't say that for all brands, but I do know doTERRA's is the one I trust the most. And I'm going to tell you to put this on the bottoms of your feet, and even the back of your neck. Really good. Actually, I'm going to do that on my neck right now. This one's really good. Now, this is really good grounding oil. Vetiver is a really good grounding, calming oil. So definitely want to use that as we're moving through some of this intense energy. Now, you can also pair it really beautifully. I've learned this from my friend Desiree Delaunay. To pair these beautiful guys together, we've got the vetiver with marjoram. Vetiver with marjoram. Now, what I love about the marjoram is that marjoram between the two, it is really going to help filter messages that we are receiving during this time and filter those out to what is really meant for us. Because sometimes we get a lot that comes through, whether you're a channeler or whether you're just an intuitive and you get everything, or you maybe don't even realize that, and just the planets are happening and it's like, oh, there's a lot, right? This is going to help filter out the messages that you need, that are for you, that are for your greatest and highest good. And so you can put these two on the back of the neck, like I did the vetiver. You can just roll the vetiver on there and then put just a drop of the margarine on top over it. Now, if you're like, okay, I'm pretty good at filtering messages, and I'm going to say and here, you can also use the vetiver with lemongrass. So vetiver with lemongrass. And this allows for the acceptance of things that we have denied. So these are, as this energy is coming through and it's kind of bringing some things to us, bringing some ideas to us, bringing some insights into it to us, we can use this lemongrass to help us accept the things that we have maybe been pushing away. It's like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I hear that's one of the things I hear people say the most. And I'm like, you got to heal, my friend. Like, you've got to do that work, because if we don't do that work, it's going to keep happening. It's like you can shove it down and you can keep shoving down. At one point it's going to stop you, right? Like, you're like, oh, I'm achieving my goals though, I'm doing my thing. Yes, you are, my friend, and I'm so proud of you. You're going to get to a point though where you're not going to be able, you're going to literally get stopped. And so I don't want that to happen to you. So I want you use this pairing, vetiver and lemongrass. And this for me, I like this on my heart space. So the space at the center of your chest, tip of your sternum. And this to just really allow you to accept whatever it is that you've kind of been pushing away and are ready to really look at and heal. So, my friend, that is what I've got for you today. If you have not got the Taurus guidebook, it's the monthly zodiacal seasonal seasonal guidebook that I put out every single month that talks about the energy of this month, talks about whatever zodiacal sign we're in. This month it's Taurus. It's got journal prompts in there for you. It's got crystals that you can use for this energy. It's got more essential oil pairings that you can use this season to help you navigate the Taurus energy. My friend, you can get that for absolutely free. The link is down in the description box, as well as links to get these oils from my favorite distributor. All right, my friend, that is it for us today. This concludes our Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week. As always, my friend, remember, close your eyes and take a deep breath with me. And release. And find peace. Bye, my friend.